Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Sri Banerjee, core faculty for the College of Health Sciences and Public Policy of Walden University with a joint faculty appointment at Ross University School of Medicine. And today I wanted to talk about World Heart Day. September 29th, actually, this is being recorded previously to this, but I wanted to go ahead and get this recording going. Also, you might hear some noise, unpleasant noise, which is part of my fan that is getting heated up. So let's go ahead and get started. The objective here, of course, is to shed light and awareness, and that's the main focus and theme of World Heart Day. But just quick facts. Cardiovascular disease remains, out of the top 10, #1 cause of mortality. It has been for decades now, in the recent decades, but has really, it continues to be an issue throughout the globe, throughout the world, in fact, as well. And I'm going to give you the numbers for that, at least within the United States. The number of deaths that we experience is almost 700,000. There's a CDC interactive that goes into risk factors as well, and I'm going to share some maps that I created from that interactive where it goes into much more detail about some of the risk factors. So looking at some other facts, these are actually more interesting facts more than anything. That I figured I would share them because it's quite interesting if you ask me. So every year, over 17 million people die from heart disease. So this is global. Remember, I said 700,000 within the United States, but globally 17 million people. Just take a second to grasp and understand how many people it is. The heart beats 115 million times a day. The heart muscles have to do a lot of work, which is why it's so important for the blood circulation and supply to be enriching the heart with nutrients and oxygenated blood. 2,000 gallons of blood, 2,000 gallons of blood pumped through the body every day. It's a lot of blood, and the number of miles our blood vessel system can extend to is 60,000. So what are the three main risk factors? Blood pressure, high cholesterol, especially LDL, the bad cholesterol, and smoking. I also wanted to say that 47% of cardiac-related deaths, that really demonstrates when you have cardiac-related deaths, that demonstrates that people are not going to preventative routes and are not heeding signs to demonstrate when it's serious. So they wait till it's too late. So that's why there's cardiac-related deaths in the hospital. So looking at total cardiovascular disease death rates per 100,000, there's definitely a sparse distribution according to geography. For instance, if you look at the rates within the South and looking at within the Appalachia area, these are all areas with greater need and greater rates of mortality. Whereas the lighter orange is more is less of a rate. So looking at types of cardiovascular disease, I did tell you about the three risk factors that you want to be thinking about. But now the types of cardiovascular disease, it's a complex disease. You cannot use one type to define cardiovascular disease. So you have stroke, heart failure, arrhythmia, heart valve complications, and myocardial infarctions, which are heart attacks. So these 5 components comprise types of cardiovascular disease. And so going back to the interactive map that has been made available by the Centers for Disease Control, this is actually looking at atrial fibrillation hospitalizations. Remember I said there may be rhythm problems? Well, this is that rate per 1,000 Medicare beneficiaries. So this is all races, all genders, ages 65 plus. So this is looking at rate per 1,000. So the higher the number, the worse it is. So if you're seeing a lot of dark numbers, dark sections, then these are places where hospitalizations are higher among Medicare beneficiaries. Again, the same areas seem to be the worst offenders of having atrial fibrillation. But then again, hospitalizations from AFib are common in Texas, Missouri, and Georgia, Alabama. Throughout all of these areas, seems like Pennsylvania is spared. Some of this is in the cities, which is interesting. Maybe urban centers are making this more difficult, but both Pittsburgh and Philadelphia have higher percentages than anywhere else. Seems also a county that's within, maybe surrounding to Lancaster County might be higher. Anyway, this shows some interesting places where you can be focusing on to find not only heart mortality, cardiovascular mortality, but risk factors like atrial fibrillation, but going further than that and recognizing where hospitalization rates are and how that makes a difference in providing care according to the need that the community has. So this geospatial framework and approach directly translates to community level interactions. So do you see the connections? If you see those connections between individual health and population health, then the understanding broadens, and then you can understand other concepts that are provided for that. Thank you for listening.